What's up, fellow Saiyans, and welcome to episode 38 of my Marvel Minipaints. Today I'm doing Mojo. He is a villain in the X-Men universe. He is also primed in Army Painter's Uniform Gray, as are all my minis so far. He's basically like a TV producer of his own universe, which is essentially like a network or channel, and he just has death events where like he captures the X-Men and tries to get like like a show where they're all trying to die. They're trying to stay alive and keep the viewers entertained, basically. But to start him off, we're gonna work on his flesh, and it's a mix. I'm gonna use a mix of demonic yellow and desert yellow. He's always like weird. He's always burping and stuff, kind of like Rick from Rick and Morty. I mean, his main like nemesis is Longshot. That's where the Longshot came from, the Mojoverse. But we're just gonna cover most of his skin with this yellow we have, and since it is yellow, it's gonna take probably around 3 coats. But the good news is, being that he's a larger, oversized figure, like you can see, I have the tape holding him to the Citadel fake miniature holder itself, which, I mean, that thing spreads out pretty wide to be able to accommodate most bigger minis, and I still had to use masking tape just to keep him on. But the good thing with this is, by the time we cover up, if we work top to bottom or left to right, by the time you get to one side, usually the other side's kind of dry, and you can start applying another coat right on top of it. And you can tell the video's being sped up about 8 times its normal speed. Usually takes about 2 hours to do each figure. So the painting you see here is done in 8 times. 8, sometimes 16 times the normal speed. And you can see I'm taking a good bit on the skin. Once that's finally dry, or you're finished with that, we're going to switch over to Necromancer Cloak, and we're going to use this for the base of the miniature. You can see he's standing on like broken TVs and hoses and stuff, but basically everything else in the outside of the broken TVs are going to be done in Necromancer Cloak. Now, for the majority of all his like legs and his tail thing that comes up over that shoots, we're going to use gunmetal. It's all like a metal apparatus, but we're going to use gunmetal as the color for it. And again, you want to be thorough with this. It'll take a little while to cover up the entire body of the rest of his, I don't know what you even call that. You want to try not to get any on the yellow. I mean, if you do, it's not a big deal. You could always cover it up later. But it just, it makes it take a lot less time if you're not covering up a lot of your own mistakes. Now, we're going to use mummy robes, and we're going to apply this to his eyes and his teeth. And then we're going to start putting this on all of his fingernails. Next, we're going to take pure red. And like some of the hoses like that are in the cords attached in the back of his head are different colors. So we're going to use pure red for some of the hoses. Now we're going to use crystal blue, and it's the same deal. There's some hoses, same thing. And finally, for the other hose color, we're going to use goblin green. Now we're going to take matte black, and we're going to add it to the TVs, like the frames of the TVs. We'll also use this color later to dot his eyes. But right now I'm basically just going around each TV frame and getting pretty much everything except for the screen. Now I'm going to take out the detail brush and I'm going to start going over everything. You can see there's like lines on his face that are kind of metallic that I'm just going to take the detail brush, use the gunmetal, and just very gently go over them. And I'm going to start adding different colors as we go. Like for the base, I'm going to take this dragon red, and there's like two hoses on the base that go between like the TVs and stuff, so I'm going to use this for that. Now for his mouth and his tongue and everything, we're going to use Warlock Purple. It's crazy that this color is called Warlock Purple when realistically it's like a pink. For one of these screens, we're going to use deep blue. Another one we're going to be using here is the green we used before. As well, the demonic yellow we used is also going to be on the screen. I have that in the one that his leg is breaking into, so to like almost like mimic like a little explosion. And once that's all done, it's going to be time to start washing. And we're going to start off with soft tone. And this is basically going to be the wash for his whole upper body. And as always with washes, you want to cover the surface, but you don't want it to puddle up too much or sit in an area. And you also don't want bubbles. So even if you have to, when you're done, just kind of drag the brush, wet or dry sometimes, just over it, just to soak up any excess wash that you might have still on the miniature. And once we're finished with the soft tone, we're going to switch over to dark tone. We're going to do all the metal on his body as well as the base. Everything on the base except for the TV screens themselves. And then once this is finished, we're going to set this and let it dry for a while. The drying process after washing takes the longest. Alright, once the wash is dry and it's time to start our highlights, we're going to start with Moon Dust. And we're going to use this as the highlight color for his skin. And I'm just going to start gently brushing this right where the areas where the light would shine on him the most. You can see me occasionally wiping off the excess paint. Now we're going to use matte white, and we're going to use this for the metal, for the highlights on the metal apparatus on his body. Alright, now I'm going to use the crystal blue we used from before. And I'm going to use this on some of the screens. I'm going to use jungle green on the green screen. I'm just going to add a little highlight color to each screen. And I'm going to add lava orange. And I'm going to use this on top of the demonic yellow screen. And now for the base, for the rest of it, we're going to use uniform gray. And this is for like all this, the TV frames, the other shit on the ground next to them. everything that really doesn't have color on the base. And now, like I said before, we're going to take the matte black and we're just going to dot his eyes. And this is going to be Mojo. And like here, it looks great. And then I'm going to show you the close-up later in a little bit. You'll see another angle where it's like the color looks terrible. It has to be the lighting because it definitely looks better here than it will in the close-up. But, I mean, if you enjoyed this, check out my Twitch and my Facebook page. Just look for Saiyan Elite. If you want to see more videos like this, you want to be notified when new episodes come out, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and you'll get you'll get a notification every time new episodes come out. But again, like you can see here, it's an alright job. I could have did better, but I'd like to thank you guys all for watching. And as always, later, Saiyans.